the front, mid-abdomen, and running around the left side of his torso to the back. He died from a combination of major organ failure and blood loss.
So,
she must have gone crazy.
What do these injuries suggest to you, if anything, about the state of mind or the intentions of the person who inflicted them?
The pattern of the wound suggests Mr. James was turning away to defend himself or escape. There were lacerations to the hands, too.
Told you this would be better than the teller.
I could sense something was wrong. There was shouting, door slamming. I thought it was just teenage stuff, you know.
What happened next?
Lindsay came upstairs. She was in a panic. She said she had something to tell me. She was so terrified. I'd never seen her like that before. At first, I didn't believe it.
What did she say?
She told me what Tony had been doing to her when I wasn't around.
Mrs. James, I know this is hard, but can you clarify? Doing what?
He was abusing her.
What happened next?
Em had just come down, and I didn't want her to know about any of it, so I went and I got the kids out.
You sent them to school?
It was the first day of term. Lindsay didn't want to go. I made her.
And what happened next?
I snapped. There was a knife on the side. I picked it up and I must have stabbed him. I don't remember really. I just wanted him to stop.
Marion, you never once reported your husband to the police?
No.
No. Nor did you mention it to family members. In all the years he was apparently beating you, you never mentioned it to, say, your parents, your siblings.
No. It would have made it worse.
Did no one ever ask you how you came to be injured?
He was clever where he hit me. He did it where it wouldn't show.
Ah. What about your doctor? Did you ever visit your doctor after being injured by your husband?
No.
No. And according to this, you didn't show any injuries when examined by the police doctor after your husband's death. Mrs. James, you've got to understand. We're really struggling here to build a picture of your late husband as a violent man, just as we struggled with the story of your daughter's abuse.
When did he start behaving in a sexual way with you?
When I was about Em's age, about 11.
Why didn't you tell your mum from the start?
Because he said I'd be destroying the family. Didn't want my mum to get hurt.
Did you ever see, with your own eyes, your dad hitting your mum?
Yeah. Yeah, loads of times. Once I came downstairs, he didn't used to shout, he was just kind of like hissing at her, you know, like really mean. A bit quiet so he didn't wake me and Em up. I saw him. He was kicking her. She was lying on the floor and he was kicking her in the back.
So why did you choose this particular morning to tell her?
I had to tell her.
You had to tell her. Why? Had he threatened you? Miss James, is there anything you're not telling this court?
I just couldn't take anymore.
So, on the morning of your father's death, what time did you leave the house?
Like I said, earlier than usual. My mum made me go to school early after I told her everything. She wanted me and Em out the way.
And that's understandable.
Yeah?
So, you got up, got dressed, had a big row with your father. You went and told your mum about all these years of abuse. Then your mother came down, got breakfast, got you and Em packed off and out to school, all in time to have a massive argument with your father and eventually kill him. And this all happened in 15 minutes?
I don't know.
You told us you got up at 7:30 a.m.
Yeah.
The estimated time of death is 7:45 a.m. You can see my confusion. So, what did you do between 7:45 and 9 a.m.?
I just went to school early.
Not according to the school. No, you didn't get there until after registration.
Look, haven't I answered enough questions yet?
We have 2 witnesses who have testified to seeing you leave the house at about 8:20 a.m. That's a good half hour after your father's death. Can you explain that?
I'm not answering any more questions.
Lindsay, were you there?
No, I wasn't.
I would suggest that you were there. Before, during and after your father was killed.
No.
Yes. Yeah, you were there. And in the half hour that follows, your mother got you to cook up some story about a violent, abusive father. She got you to lie in order to win the sympathy of this jury. Is that not the case?
Will you leave her alone? It wasn't like that. It wasn't. She didn't tell me to say anything.
What was it like at school that morning, Miss James? Knowing that you had to keep that awful secret.
I wasn't keeping a secret.
It must have been very tiring, very stressful. Sitting there, knowing that your father was lying on the kitchen floor, dead.
No, I didn't. I didn't know anything. Will you just leave me alone? Leave me alone! Stop it, please! Just stop it!
Do I need to remind you that you're still under oath? If we discover that you're not telling the truth...
I'm going to tell you the truth. I'll tell you the truth right now if you'll listen. That morning, he'd arranged a trip for me and my mum. A shopping trip. He said we deserved it. But I knew what he was planning. He wanted Em alone.
Lindsay, don't. Please, tell her to stop.
My mum was upstairs with Em. I went into the living room and I told him I was not leaving my little sister with him. He said it was my fault. That if I'd been nicer to him, he wouldn't need Em.
So what happened then?
Tried to hit him, but he pushed me away. He shouted at me. He said it wouldn't just be me who got it. If I kept making a fuss, my mum would get it too. I said I'd tell her about us, but he said she wouldn't believe me.
So, you told your mum?
No. I went into the kitchen and I picked up a knife. And when he came in, I stabbed him.
Lindsay, no. God, no.
Mrs. James.
I killed him. And I'm glad. He deserved it.
Please, she's just making it up. She just wants to help me. Lindsay!